Hey everyone, welcome back to RPG 3 and 3, your go-to spot for all things tabletop. Today we'll be talking about some of the differences between Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition or 5e and the upcoming One D&D. We'll also weigh the pros and cons, and I'll share some of my reservations about One D&D, so let's get started. First up, character creation. In 5e, character creation is pretty straightforward, but One D&D takes it a step further. They're adding more customization options, letting players tweak their characters with even more detail. You can choose your character's background and lineage separately, giving you more freedom to craft a unique backstory, while also giving you access to different skills, depending on what you choose. One pro of 5e character creation is that it's easy to understand and quick to get started. Con, it can feel limited in terms of customization. For One D&D, the pro is definitely the increased customization, allowing for richer character stories. The con, it might be a bit overwhelming for new players, and let's be honest, too many options can sometimes bog down the game. For example, in One D&D, you might choose to be an elf raised by dwarves, blending traits from both cultures. This adds a rich layer of storytelling to your character, but will all this complexity actually improve the gameplay experience? I'm not sure. And for some of the more inventive players, it can take away their moment to shine creatively by allowing the story to develop who their character is and what they actually want to achieve in the world. Now, one of the new things they've added in creation is that your character now gains a feat right from the jump based upon their choices here. Kinda nice, but in reality, this could have already been allowed by the DM running the game. Next, let's talk about rules and mechanics. One D&D aims to streamline gameplay even more. They've reworked some core mechanics to make them more intuitive. For instance, instead of rolling a separate initiative for combat, you can use your dexterity score directly. This is meant to speed up the game and keep the action flowing. Pros of 5e rules. It's a well-balanced system with a good mix of simplicity and depth. Cons, some mechanics can feel clunky or slow down the game. For One D&D, the streamlined mechanics are a big pro, making the game faster and more intuitive. But the con here is that oversimplification might strip away some of the tactical depth that many players love about D&D, not to mention those golden RP moments that come from the last person you would expect being the first to attack. For example, the barbarian gets the first attack in a situation that would require a subtle touch. I would get a little bored if Slinky McStabby the Rogue was the first to attack every time because he has a dexterity score of 18. One D&D also focuses heavily on digital integration. They're working on a new digital platform that includes a virtual tabletop, character builder, and even AI dungeon masters. This makes it easier for players to jump into the game, whether they're seasoned veterans or complete newcomers. Pros of 5e's traditional approach. It encourages face-to-face interaction and the tactile feel of physical books and dice, which is a huge draw for some players, new and old. Cons, it can be harder to organize and manage remote games because not everyone is going to have access to all of the same information. As someone who uses the D&D Beyond app, I can see how One D&D's digital integration can be a major pro, simplifying online play and resource management. However, the con? This move toward digital could reduce the traditional in-person gaming experience that so many of us love. And there's always the concern about how much this digital shift might cost us in the long run. Imagine running a campaign entirely online with all your resources in one place. It's going to be a game changer for remote play and long-distance groups. But is it really what we want, or are we trading the classic tabletop feel for convenience? Lastly, One D&D is incorporating community feedback into its development. At least that's what they're saying. They're releasing playtest materials and actively seeking input from players to refine the rules. The goal is that a collaborative approach ensures that the final product will be something the community loves and supports. One pro of 5e's established system. It's tried and true. It's been around since 2014. There's already a huge player base and wealth of resources. One huge con. It can be difficult to adapt to new ideas. One DD's active community involvement is a big pro, fostering a game shaped by its players. I've heard that even White Wolf Games did this a bit in the early days of their Vampire the Masquerade system, but the con? The development process might be slower and more chaotic with so many voices involved. And there's always the risk that not all feedback will be properly integrated, leaving some players dissatisfied. So to sum it up, while D&D 5e is a fantastic system that we've all grown to love, or at least comfortable with, One D&D is shaping up to be a modern evolution of the game, claiming more customization, streamlined mechanics, digital integration, and community involvement. It's an interesting time to be a D&D fan for sure. But we should also be cautious and critical of these changes, especially since they say they're going to be listening, making sure they truly enhance our gaming experience rather than just complicate it. So what do you think? That's the important bit. Are you excited for the new changes, or do you think it's much ado about nothing? Let me know down there in the comments, and I thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Until next time, remember, it's dangerous to go alone, so make sure to subscribe on your way out. Happy adventuring!